really bad news when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy phones and Android 15. You're going to be waiting a while. How long? Until next year. So, announced today, well, it was released anyways, Samsung's developer conference stuff. Apparently, they're having some issues with Android 15. It's particularly problematic because they're changing up a lot of the stuff when it comes to the user interface. So they're changing the user interface up and trying to do a little bit of different stuff. And what they said they were going for, they said they have a brand new user interface design and they have three goals in mind: simplicity with purpose, impactful impression signature to Galaxy, and having a more emotional quality. I don't know what kind of emotion you're going to get out of your user interface other than frustration and anger and want to throw your phone into something because it makes you mad because you can't find stuff where you want it. But yeah, they're trying to evoke more emotional quality. So that's cool. I would wager there's a fourth quality, which is being late to the party. And yeah, we got to wait until they release the Samsung Galaxy S25. So the S25 will get it and launch with it, but that's going to be months. We're talking months after we're already going to get Android 15 with like the Google Pixel phones. And apparently Vivo beat everybody to the punch and released it already for some of their phones, which is interesting that they are launching it. But we've seen this before. I remember a long time ago, I think OnePlus actually beat Google to the punch. And OnePlus used to be Johnny on the spot with their updates. Like Google would announce it, and they would announce it like, all right, we've got it here available as well. And like I said, I think they beat them maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years even. I don't know. OnePlus used to be super fast, always there with the updates. Samsung was always kind of historically later. But the last couple of years, it's one of those things where Samsung really has kind of taken over as king of the updates. And they've gotten really good with pushing out their monthly security patches, putting out their updates, and beating Google in a lot of times whenever it comes to this stuff. And that's something I've been really glad to see because remember the olden days where you would buy a Samsung phone, maybe a year or so later you might get the update, and then maybe you were lucky if you even got a second update. So we're kind of a far cry away from the bad dark times when it came to software updates and phones where usually stuff's pretty reasonable on the timelines. But yeah, this one, even I guess Android has been eluding the masters of Android, Google. So Google makes Android, in case you've been under a rock and didn't realize this. And it's interesting because, where's my phone? Right here. So no, that's my Sony. I don't know where my Google phone's at. It's around here somewhere. So even the Google Pixel phones don't have Android 15 yet. And we're expected to see it here in the next week or two as we're in October. Google threw us a curveball, not only with Android 15, but with their own phones, because normally their phones launch in October, and then they kind of launch with the new Android experience. That's something we've had kind of a mainstay for years. And then they go around this time and they want to beat Apple to the punch, which they did. They made good phones. They got them out early. They released the Pixel 9 series phones in September, whatever. Anyway, a couple weeks ago. And now we've got Android 15 is not there. It's going to be here now in October. So it puts us in this really, really interesting position because, well, not here yet. And then Samsung is not going to have it until January. And I just never would have guessed that they would be that far behind. And when they roll it out, we got to see what it even rolls out to first. Like, of course, it'll be with the S25. Hopefully, there's no delay. And it even kind of took them a while to get, like, I think it was One UI 6.1.1 to come out for some of the older devices. So Samsung has this really daunting task of making sure that One UI works well, and then that they spread it across all these different devices, because One UI has been on a lot of phones now. They've been using it for years and trying to add on all these AI features and giving Galaxy AI to phones as far as almost 3 generations back. So not only that, dealing with the Exynos processors in some phones, dealing with the different Snapdragon processors in some phones. So I feel like every year Samsung makes an even more colossal task for them to keep up with it, and they've done a pretty good job. So I don't know what the holdup is here. I don't know if it's because Google has had issues themselves and then trying to get everything ready and available for everybody else to use it. But then you sit there and you go, well, okay, Vivo already released it and Google hasn't even yet. So how has Vivo circumvented the entire process, got their phones updated, or at least some of them? We're still waiting on Google, and then Samsung months later. And then, of course, we don't even know what phones that's going to be for. They just say that they're going to announce, like, it's going to release with the S25. And here it says official version of One UI 7 with all the game-changing AI features will be released next year with the next Galaxy S series. And it makes you wonder, okay, what are these groundbreaking, game-changing AI features? Because most of them are just rebranded Google AI features, which I don't have a problem with. I mean, they're embedded already. Like, it's something that should be able to take advantage of pretty easily. And then, of course, they just change the names to protect the innocent. Like, they have their interpreter mode. Of course, they use Circle to search. And it was so funny to me, getting Google and Samsung on the same page. So we got Galaxy AI in January with the S24, and I remember just plain as day during the keynote speech, and they're like, "Oh, also we have Circle to search. It's so amazing. You circle something, and it tells you what it is." And then instantly, like as soon as that happened, you see a tweet on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, where Google's account is saying, "Oh, it's also available on the Google Pixel phones, dropping on January 31st, the exact same day that we got the rollout for the S24 series phone." So it's really interesting seeing like this relationship, because Samsung and Google need each other to coexist, but Google provides Android and AI to Samsung, and then Samsung makes a lot of the hardware and a lot of the components that go into the Google phone. So it would be interesting if maybe they teamed up one day and called themselves like Sam Google or Google Sung for their phone department. And like, all right, we're going to merge like the Power Rangers, or like if you remember in the 80s, if you're old like me, like Voltron, and they power up, the robots connect together and they turn into this one big fighting robot so they can, fight whoever they're fighting. And then of course that would be Apple. So it would be interesting if we ever saw something like that. But yep, still have Google, still have the Pixel phone, still have Samsung, still have delays whenever it comes to Android 15. And there's going to be some nice stuff in there. And if you didn't already see it, watch my video I put out yesterday talking about a bunch of the AI features coming, because I talked about with the Google Pixel phones, because we're expecting that in any time now. Imminent. Launch is imminent, within a week, 2 weeks, whatever. And there's going to be a lot of different new features, different things. It's not going to be a complete UI change. The UI is basically going to remain the same. The UI changes, which UI meaning user interface, you can tell easily. Like, you pick up a Samsung phone, it looks completely different from a Google Pixel phone, even though they're both running Android, right? So Samsung likes to do their own thing, create their user interface, do all this customized stuff. I mean, it's almost as if they have their own operating system. And somebody was telling me the other day, like, Samsung needs to make their own operating system. And I just really don't, that's not really viable at this point in time. A lot of people tried that and trying to just get the app support and the developers on board with that made so many platforms fail, like Windows Phone and BlackBerry. Rest in peace. I miss BlackBerry so much. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. It is coming soon, but not soon enough, and it'll be a late Christmas gift, as we'll get it whenever we have the launch of the S25 in January. But let me know what your thoughts are. Are you disappointed? Are you upset? Are you going to go smash your Samsung phone and switch to Apple? I don't know. We'll talk about it. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, all that stuff, you know where to go. Hit the comment section and we'll talk about it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and a little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And also, this is the second video I've recorded with my fancy schmancy new microphone that I think sounds tremendously better. But let me know. I can always do better. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know if you think it sounds better and all that good stuff. So as always, again, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out, which is of course every day, sometimes twice a day lately, because there's been so much tech to talk about. And thank you tremendously for your support. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.